Hey guys, so I talked about wanting to eat healthier in a recent video. That's gotta be my best title yet. Yeah, so I wanted to start eating healthier and I decided I asked you guys and quite a few of you wanted me to do that by testing the Beyonce 22 Days Nutrition Meal Planner that they released recently, I think in the last month or so. So I've done that over the past couple days, and as you've probably guessed, I'm pretty much done with it, unfortunately. But first, I want to start with the good, and I already talked about a lot of the stuff in the other video, but in case you didn't see that one. So really, I think where this app shines is in the layout and the customization. As I talked about in the other video, if you go to your preferences, they ask a bunch of questions. So you have serving size, you can choose between 3 different options: M, most women; L, most men; and active women; and then extra large, super athletes, huge portions for very heavy training. There's also household, so you can choose, and they do have a small, it's a kid's serving, and so you can choose like how many, so if you have 3 children, you can put 3 small sizes, whatever. So that's really cool, and that changes the recipes. So when you go to the recipe, it'll say like how many servings you're making. So that's really awesome. There's also cooking time. I love that feature. So you can say breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast, I only have 10 minutes to cook. Lunch, I have 20 minutes. Dinner, I have an hour, whatever. Cooking level skill. So you can do level 1, beginner, level 2, intermediate, or level 3, advanced. Meal plan type, I also talked about that. There are 4 different types. Family favorites, 22-day revolution, that's the soy and gluten-free stuff, so obviously not for me. And I'm guessing it's lower in calories too, I would guess. Not clear on that because I haven't actually looked at it. Adventurous foodie and performance fuel, which is the one that I chose. They also have allergies or dislikes. You can put in whatever ingredient and then it'll scrub all of those recipes from your planner. And kitchen equipment. Again, all of this super useful for someone who's like actually going to be making recipes, right? Like it's not useful if they're giving you a menu plan and it's like, oh, I need a Vitamix for this. So I love all of that stuff. I also love that the way they do it, they have 7 days here and it updates every day. And for each day, they give you 3 options for each meal. Or if you want, you can just search through the whole database of recipes and choose whatever you want. But again, this is the customized thing. So this is going to be working off of your preferences, right? Again, if you're putting in 10 minutes for breakfast, it's only going to show you 10 minutes or less, right? For breakfast options. If you put in no eggplant, it's not going to give you any recipes with eggplant. So I like all that. The issue for me, it comes down to the recipes themselves, unfortunately. Now, first off, I did make one recipe that was freaking delicious, like really good. I would make this again. This mango and crispy tempeh salad with creamy cilantro dressing. So I've said before, I'm not a huge fan of tempeh. It's usually bitter to me and I don't like it. I'd rather have tofu or beans or something or mock meat, right? But I really like it in this. This was so delicious. This was really well balanced. It's got the sweetness from the mango, it's got the saltiness from the soy sauce, and the dressing is the cilantro dressing is really good. I loved it with the mixed greens. Like everything in this is super delicious. And this was the second thing I made, I think. So I was like, yeah. And the first thing that I made was really good. It was just a basic overnight oats. It wasn't anything spectacular. I think it had just like a few ingredients. But if you're someone who really doesn't know anything about vegan cooking, that's useful, right? It's useful to have a recipe like that. And honestly, I don't know if I've ever had overnight oats. Maybe I have once or twice, but it's just something that it doesn't sound very appealing to me, like cold oats that have been sitting in like soy milk in the fridge overnight. Like it just doesn't sound good to me. Like why? I want it warm. What? But I actually really liked it. I had it with berries and banana. It was good. So yeah, this was the second recipe. It was really good. It took about the amount of time that they said. I think they said it took 30 minutes. It took pretty much 30 minutes for me. So that was awesome. It says intermediate. I guess it's intermediate because there are some different steps. Like you have to make the dressing, you have to toast the like little tortillas that go on top that you like crumble and put on top. Point is, if all the recipes were like that, yes, like this would absolutely be worth the $14 a month. But they're not. The next recipe I made, and I don't even know why I put this on my list. I really was trying to go by their customized thing. I didn't search any recipes and try to find recipes that I pretty much knew I would like. I tried to get out of my comfort zone a little bit and just pick from the 3 that they gave me for the day, right? And so on this day, I think the 3 for dinner, it was like 2 sweet potato heavy meals. And I cut out all the dislikes and stuff like that. I didn't put in any dislikes for me because, again, I wanted to branch out a little bit. And I do like sweet potato, but these were like a full sweet potato and like black beans. And it was like, I'm not going to like that. And then the other one was something else with sweet potatoes. And then the third one, pea soup with toast and blueberries as like a side. And I was like, you know what? I like pea soup. This might be good. Oh no, it needs garlic. It needs some other flavors, but their recipe, it's basically peas and a lot of lemon juice. It's just sour pea water. And it's not creamy. Like I think they put a little bit of cashews in there, but not very much to keep the calories down. So it's really watery and kind of like frothy. Ugh. It was not good. My partner had to eat it. It was not something I could eat. The toast was good though. And I ended up putting some Miyokos on the toast because of course I did. And the blueberries were delicious. But yeah, it was not a very satisfying dinner for me. But again, that one was okay because it was easy to make. And I kind of knew up front that I wasn't really going to like it, but I wanted to give it a try. So then the next one I made for breakfast, this is the patatas bravas with spinach. This one sounded pretty good because it has lots of potatoes in it, and I like potatoes. Tempeh again, and I had success with the other tempeh meals. So I was like, all right. The flavor combination sounded good. Cumin, paprika. I actually use coriander in place of cumin. I do that with any recipe because I don't like cumin. I used to like cumin. I hate it now. It tastes like dirt. So if you also hate cumin, try coriander. The flavors were good, but it was not enough. The amount of spice and everything in this needed to be doubled or even tripled. I think I already doubled the garlic. It called for like 1 clove of garlic. I think I used like 3 because I knew that was not going to be enough for me. Yeah, it definitely needed more spices. And also the tempeh in this application just did not work for me. I think in the mango salad, because it was really mixed in with soy sauce, so it had a lot of flavoring, really masked the bitter and just all the different flavors. I mean, there were so many different flavors in that salad that I really didn't get a lot of the tempeh weird taste. But with this one, because there just wasn't enough flavor, you taste the tempeh and it's not for me. So disappointing because I was really excited about that one. That one sounded super delicious. Another breakfast thing that I made that was not great. It's basically the same recipe as the other oats, and looking through a lot of their recipes, there's a lot of repeats, a lot of taco recipes that are basically the same thing. So yeah, it's a chia berry overnight oats. Again, it's like oats and banana and berries. The only difference is that there's a lot of chia seeds in it, and it's gross. I like chia seeds. I eat chia seeds pretty much every day. Whenever I make my oatmeal, I put like it's probably almost a tablespoon of chia seeds in there, and I really like it, but I don't like chia seeds as like a base of something, which is what this ends up being. It's like oats and chia seeds because there's so much of the chia, and it's just goopy and slimy. Like, chia seeds are healthy, that's why I eat them, but I don't really want to taste them. So yeah, that really wasn't for me. It wasn't great. And finally, I think this is the only other thing I made. We made this last night. This was their California style black bean quinoa tacos. This was good. It's a standard like black bean taco really with quinoa. I mean, it's pretty standard taco flavoring, right? Cumin, again, I used coriander, paprika, exactly what you would expect. Avocado, tomatoes, that sort of thing. So it tasted fine. The problem is that they say 4 corn tortillas, but the amount that this made, you need like 8 tortillas, right? Like, there was way too much to fit in the tortillas. Now, maybe they're talking about like huge tortillas, but they don't specify. And the tortillas that they show in the picture actually are not corn at all. They're flour, and they're much bigger. Something like that should not happen, right? If this stuff has actually been tested, something like that should not happen. That should be corrected before this even ends up in the planner, in the app, right? And it's not just this. This is not the only problem. I've seen another recipe where it listed an ingredient in the directions, but it wasn't listed in the ingredients. Even here in this recipe, it lists pumpkin seeds in the ingredients, but they're nowhere in the directions. And they're even in the photo. You can see some of them in the tortilla, but they're nowhere in the directions. Other little things too, like the tortillas. I've seen elsewhere using tortillas, but it doesn't say what size. Like, that's a big difference. A 6-inch tortilla versus like an 8-inch. That's a huge difference, right? Again, having like flavors being really diluted, and it's not just me saying that, my partner as well, it suggests to me that no one's really testing these, which is a problem when you're asking people to pay $14 a month. I mean, I think about like really good cookbooks and really good vegan cookbooks, like a lot of Isa, I'm not sure how to say her name, her books, which I love. I've made so many of her recipes and they're freaking delicious. Like, she has people test those and it's obvious, like oh my gosh, I can go on and on about her recipes, and her dressings, especially her salad dressings, are like so perfectly balanced and just, oh my God. Point is, it's obvious that those have been tested numerous times, probably by her and other people as well, testing them and giving her feedback before she puts it into a book and asks people for money, right? Like, this isn't on someone's blog. Like, if you're just putting a blog and putting up recipes or making YouTube videos, like, who cares? It's free. Who cares if it's a little bit off, right? But this is, no, you're asking for money. This needs to be correct. This needs to be better. Also, the timing. The tacos are a perfect example. It says 30 minutes easy. Oh, the patatas bravas, however you say it, it says 20 minutes. Again, I think it took me like 40 minutes. It was way longer. Maybe it sounds like I'm nitpicking, but the way that they lay out the directions, they don't do it in the most efficient way. So often they will list it as number 1, produce prep. You prep all your produce. And then they'll say, okay, saute the onions for 5 or 10 minutes or whatever. And it's like, wait a minute. Like, that's not how you cook efficiently. You use that downtime where something is just cooking and you just have to stir every minute or so. You use that time for prepping produce, right? I mean, some stuff you have to have everything done in advance. Like, if you're doing a stir fry where you have to work really quickly, you want all of your stuff chopped in advance, right? But like with this potato recipe, again, this potato tempeh recipe, they tell you to prep everything first, all the vegetables and stuff, and then they tell you to start cooking the potatoes, and you're supposed to boil them for 10 minutes. Like, again, that's not a good use of time. You should clean the potatoes, boil them, and while they are boiling, where you don't have to do anything, you just let them cook, then you start chopping the rest of your vegetables. That saves a lot of time. Again, maybe that's just me nitpicking, and maybe it is better if you are new to cooking to go in these very specific steps. And plus, you may be new to like chopping and slicing things, and you may be a lot slower than someone who's been cooking for a while. So I don't know, maybe that's not a valid criticism. But what is a valid criticism is listing salt as optional in a lot of recipes. That's where they lose me, because obviously they are trying to help people who are new to veganism. Like, that is the target audience, right? They're new to plant-based and they're new to like eating healthy even. I can't imagine. Some of these recipes are really hardcore. If you are not adding salt, that's not going to be tasty for a lot of people. It's just not. Again, they're saying like it's optional, you can add it, but I really think that there should be an amount, because you're kind of telling people don't add salt, or add however much salt you want. You know what I mean? I mean, if you're trying to get people to use less salt, maybe give them an amount. Like, maybe tell them, you know, 1/4 teaspoon or 1/8 teaspoon or whatever, right? Again, maybe I'm nitpicking there, but just for me, it's not for me. It's obviously not made for me. I've been vegan for a while. I know how to cook. I'm not an amazing cook or anything. It's why I like following recipes, because I have some idea on how to balance flavors, and sometimes I really get it, man, and I make some good shit and it feels amazing, but not always, you know, I'm not the best at it. So I really do like following recipes and learning more and learning from others who are just really amazing cooks and amazing chefs. But I know I'm more proficient than a lot of people when it comes to cooking. Point is, it's not geared to me. I get that. But again, it's not just that. I think there are other problems that will affect people who are the target audience, right? Like, I can't imagine, Oh my God, I can't imagine someone who is new to plant-based and they are given that recipe for that disgusting pea soup. Who is going to eat that? Who is going to enjoy that? Just peas, a little bit of cashew, some lemon juice, and salt. That's your soup. I'm getting way too worked up over a pea soup, but I was freaking hungry. I was so hungry and I was so ready to eat and it was so gross. And I was very disappointed. Anyway, I've looked through a lot of the other recipes. None of them are incredibly inspiring to me, I have to say. A couple of them I thought were interesting, but it's like, I can find a similar recipe online. Overall, I think I would rate it maybe a C, I guess, because again, the layout and the idea I think is really solid and really awesome. And the site works really well too. It loads super quickly. I have no problem using it on my desktop, on my phone, whatever. It's awesome. I just wish the recipes were better. I wish they actually tested them. So those are my thoughts on the 22 days nutrition Beyonce Jay-Z meal planner thing. And now for what I'm going to do. How am I going to get healthy, guys? How am I going to do it? I mean, I've already given you a hint. I guess I've already talked about it, but I'm going to do what I'm confident will work, which is to follow people I have experience with, recipes from people who I know what they're doing and mostly make good stuff. So I have a book that I used to use all the time. I got it again because I don't have it anymore, used from our local bookstore. This is Appetite for Reduction from, again, Isa Chandra Moskowitz. This is great. It's low fat, but there are fat in the ingredients. So like the dressings have like nuts and stuff. And there's so many recipes in this that I love. I was just looking through it again going like, oh yeah, I used to make that. Oh yeah, I used to make that. There's one dressing that I made like every day for a month, I think. I would make it with like this bowl of bulgur wheat and like roasted cauliflower. And oh my God, it was just the tastiest thing. Oh, the Green Goddess garlic dressing. That's not it, but that one is really good. I also like that every recipe has a little nutrition breakdown for the servings. It's got like calories and protein amount, fiber, iron, stuff like that. I really like that. So yeah, again, going with the book that I know has recipes in it that I'll like, and there's a good chance that if I make a recipe, it's gonna be good. Of all the recipes that I've made from her, I don't even know how many. I think I've made like 2 that I didn't like. I also got this other book that I've never used before. This is Protein Ninja by Terry Hope Romero, which I swear I had a book from her, or I think maybe it was a book that they did together. Maybe she was a co-author on it. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure I have experience with her stuff as well. And of course I like this one because it's like protein rich recipes, 100 recipes, including like pancakes, protein pancakes. Hell yeah, dude. And waffles. What? Cilantro mint garbanzo bean flatbreads. What? Fluffy rice protein drop biscuits. What? Baked veggie pan omelet. Oh my God, that picture. What? This book is so good. I'm getting angry. Pistachio cranberry avocado softies. I don't know what that is, but I want it. Again, another one that I'm pretty confident that I will like. Again, I'm almost positive I have experience with her recipes. And also it's protein rich, which I like. I do have one more book coming that I ordered from Amazon. It's another Isa book. I think it's called Isa Does It. And all of the recipes, most of the recipes are like 30 minutes or less, which is really awesome. They're supposed to be like everyday recipes. So I'm super excited about that one. And that's essentially what I'm going to be doing, I guess, I don't know why I said it like that, but that's essentially what I'm going to be doing for the next however long. Kind of, making my own stuff, but really focusing on these kind of recipes, not only as a way to get healthy, but also just to branch out. And that's something I didn't mention in the last video. I'm not unhealthy. I had blood work done recently and everything was great. My weight's good. I take a multi every day, all of that stuff. But yeah, I know I could eat like less sugar and eat a little bit more vegetables. But honestly, my main thing is my kid's getting older and my kid wants to eat what we're eating. And I don't want to get to a point where I'm just eating all this crap and so my kid's eating crap, because I don't think it's cool to make your kids eat healthy when you're eating shit. It's just a lot easier for your kids to eat healthy if you're eating healthier, right? That's the only thing driving me, if I'm being quite honest, to eat healthier is for my kid. because I'm such a good mom. Anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna make these recipes, and not exclusively. I mean, I'll probably still do my own thing here and there. I will do, I think, more what I ate today's, because I think that's the thing that's gonna help me a lot and keep me more accountable. I don't know if I'll do it on a weekly basis. I might do it on a weekly basis for a little bit and see kind of what the response from you guys is, and like the views and stuff. Because if it's not getting a lot of views and you guys aren't watching it, then it'll be hard for me to find the energy to do it. So funny, I cannot stop thinking about that dressing. And I have a very, I love memories like this. It's now tied to Flight of the Conchords, which if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's one of the best things ever. It's now tied to that because I remember during my month of making this dressing and eating it every day with the bulgur wheat and the cauliflower. Oh my gosh, so good. I would watch Flight of the Conchords. Like, we had this little tiny TV in the kitchen that was like a combination TV and a DVD player. It was like that big, like crazy small. And I would just sit in there, and my brother, I think, had it on DVD, and I would just like watch an episode and make my food and like eat it. And that's like what I would do for like lunch or whatever, like every day for a month. And that's a nice little memory. Point is, I'm hungry.